What's up, Banger fans? Sam Astroth here. It's good to be back behind the Banger Bar. What have I been up to since we last spoke? Well, I went out to Vancouver and played a festival, and it was a lot of fun. I also released my first solo EP titled Bite the Curb, and I'm currently working on a 9-track mixtape, which should be out at the end of September. So if you're interested, check it out. This week, I am reviewing the newest album from the Swedish melodic death metal band Overkill. That was the intense pummeling sounds of Vultures of North, taken from Overkill's new album titled Descent, out today, August 18th via Seek and Strike Records. Overkill originated from the Swedish lands back in 2013 and have previously released 3 full-length albums and 3 EPs to date. The band members consist of main man and original member Nicholas Carlson, guitarist Richard Hansen, bassist Fredrik Leonardson, and drummer Christopher Wallerstedt. They generated quite a buzz in the underground scene since their inception, which led them to their first international tour in 2019. Following this tour, they released their most successful album to date, Ninja, I hope I'm saying that right, which gained them more worldwide recognition, leading to their 4th full-length release, Descent. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Being a melodic death metal band, you know that these guys gonna fill your ears with tons of melodies. But what Overkill kind of excels compared to their, you could say, counterparts, their vibes are a bit more like brutal, and especially the vocal department. You almost get somewhat of a deathcore vibe from the vocals at times, and sometimes with the choirs, it kind of even makes you feel like Flesh God Apocalypse. Just like that, the album starts off in a pretty brutal and epic fashion, like the track Black Mud. So from all that aside, the band's sound does move around from brutal to somber to intense to atmospheric moments at times. There are quite a few layers at play in different times of the album, which makes the balancing kind of hard. The balancing of the mix sometimes sounds a little off to me. It could be you to decide, but to me it sounds a bit uneven at times, maybe making it more fuzzy to kind of give it that overall grandiose feel. Due to this, the guitars sometimes sound a little thin compared to the rest of the mix, and also the vocals, especially the harsh ones, sound quite muddy at times, which kind of make it a little hard to make out the words. Now, this is metal, so we don't really care, but this is melodic death metal, and generally we want to hear the cleans and the vocals in general a bit more so we can make out the lyrics. So since the clean vocals are mixed really well, I think the harsh vocals having a little more clarity would have made the overall mix sound better. I would say that the overall songwriting of the entire album is quite well balanced and is well thought of. After a few spins throughout the album, it felt like the different songs had quite a bit of variety within, so it kept me coming back and, created quite a bit of interest to go back to the album and listen to it over and over again. You get heavy songs like Vultures of North, to my personal favorite, Descent, which kind of has a little bit of a Slipknot moment at times, to sorrowful songs like Sorrower and The Isles of Fire. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our Patreon to see Sam Dunn's Patreon-only podcast. So the overall songwriting for the album is quite good and all, but how do they fit well into each other? Now, I'm all about writing diverse albums, but given that this is a melodic death metal, maybe I'm looking for a bit more discernible sound within the band's dynamics. I mean, the type of feelings and dynamics a band like Insomnium would deliver, or the consistency a band like At the Gates would give you in one entire album. The album flow kind of sounds a little jarring and confusing to me at times, but this might not totally bother you at all. So don't let all those little points bother you, because I feel like overall the album feels quite good to listen to, especially due to the dynamics of the vocals. Like I said earlier, the band transitions from harsh to clean vocals quite well. This gives the heaviness in some parts that the harsh vocals can deliver while giving that catchiness, just like this chorus. I would say that Orbit Culture didn't really cut any corners and tried their best to make the best album they could. Overall, a pretty good album, and I think you'll enjoy it quite a bit. Therefore, I'm giving this album a solid 3.5 skulls out of 5 here on Overkill Reviews. Now, time for my favorite section, the shoutouts. First up, I got the enigmatic Kim Dracula, who just dropped their debut album, A Gradual Decline in Morale, which came out on July 14th via order of the Snake. If you don't listen to this guy, you're seriously missing out. This most likely could end up being my album of the year. I literally haven't heard a more creative, innovative, diverse, hilarious, and entertaining album like this in, I don't know, forever. Next up, I got my bro Numbskull from Montreal, who just released his debut album, a compilation of sounds and words written when I felt like dying on July 28th via Grotesque. Numbskull, just like Kim Dracula and Scarlord, is in the similar genre to my own music, which I feel like is the new wave of music that is kinda like genre fluid, or you could call it multi-genre, and I personally find it to be the most free form of creating music currently. Numbskull showcases this free-flowing music creation throughout the 10 songs of the album, using a variety of vocal styles from screaming to rapping to singing, while the music transitions genres accordingly. Lastly, if you remember my 2021 album of the year, well, Scarlord is back with his 16th full-length album in 7 years, titled Made in Hell, which came out on July 21st by his own independent Lord Records. This guy is an absolute machine and never stops making music. This time around, he gives you a rather experimental 9-track album, which ranges from trap metal to scream rap to his newer mix of electronic sounds. So Banger fans, what did you think of the new Orbit Culture album? Leave me a comment below and let me know. Thanks for watching. See you next time.